Hey, what's up, everybody? This is your boy, the Dope Ass Dude, and thank you so much for tuning in tonight. I'm really excited about being here with you all. It's like episode 7. We have 2 more episodes to go before the season ends, and I'm really excited about everything that's going to happen on tonight. So you guys already know the preliminary things. If you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel, if you don't mind going ahead, subscribing to the YouTube channel. And while you're there, click on notifications so that you can be notified each and every time a new podcast is uploaded to the site. And then also click on like. Like helps it get shared with others just like you. So don't be selfish. Click on like so others can see it. Now, if you don't get a chance to catch it on Monday, you can always listen on the go. You can find it on Apple Podcasts, YouTube Music, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Again, that's Apple Podcasts, YouTube Music, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. And then you already know you can watch it live each and every Monday on Facebook, LinkedIn, X, and YouTube. So, final thing, if you're not following me on TikTok and Instagram, if you don't mind following me on both of those platforms, you can find me at the Dope Ass Dude Podcast on both Instagram and TikTok. And let's go ahead and get Marcus's stuff out of the way. You can follow Marcus on IG, Threads, TikTok, and Facebook, all at Marcus.E.Wilson0512. So again, you can follow him on Instagram, Threads, TikTok, Facebook at Marcus.E.Wilson0512. So I'm really excited about having Marcus on the podcast tonight. And this guy, I've followed him for a couple of months now, actually. And I came across him out on Threads. If you guys not on Threads, you need to get on it because it is fire. A lot of great things happening out there. And again, that's where I met Marcus. And he shares some of the most inspirational things daily. Like daily, this brother is on point. By the time you wake up every morning, he's going to have something inspirational for you. And they're biblical based, but they're also life applicable. They're life applicable, and he shares part of his journey. And that's one thing I like about social media, is because is that you get an opportunity to walk with people as they are walking through their journey, and you get a chance to watch their transformation and how God is working in their life, and you can just imagine where they're going to be a year from today. So I'm really excited about having him here. I'm really excited about his future and everything. So I'm going to bring Marcus on now because I want him to talk about himself. Marcus, what's going on, man?
Hey, what's going on? Appreciate you for having me on. Thank you.
Absolutely. You so church. Thank you. You know. You about to get a prayer back. So what's happening with you, dude?
All good. Been a light day, just the way I like it. Work from home. Make it easy and crisp. How about you?
Yeah, it's been a good day, man. It has been an amazing day. So, Marcus, tell us a little bit about you. So all I know is what I see on Threads. You know, you and I, we're becoming, brothers and everything, and I'm beginning to learn. But tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so like you mentioned, Marcus Wilson, originally born on the East Coast, but raised in Texas. Got 2 kids, both boys, ages 10 and 7, Amari and Amir. So that's my pride and joy. But my biggest pride and joy is being a believer. So I got saved back in August 10th, 2014, dedicated my life to my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ at that time. I work in the corporate world as an executive business manager in the automotive industry. But I always say, like, I'm an entrepreneur who works a 9-to-5. So I do a lot of stuff outside of the corporate space, whether it be, like you mentioned, on Threads, bringing these daily videos, and doing my pastoral side and just ministering to people, and from a biblical aspect, but also from a life standpoint, and making it more real for people instead of just how churchy it is, how we just go to a building on Sunday and you just hear a feel-good message, but you have no idea how to actually apply that to your life. I'm big into health and fitness, so I do a lot of health and fitness training on the side as well, and coaching. personal and professional branding coach as well, and just more of a life coach and life mentor to a lot of younger men to not make the same mistakes that I made throughout my life. So I love it all, do a lot, and I love staying busy.
So let me ask you this here. So, because you post, like I said, you post pretty much every day. You have something that's out there every day where you're encouraging people. So where do you find your inspiration to keep it fresh? Like, so what's your source? Of course, we know it's God. God pours into you. But like here on earth, what mechanisms do God use to inspire you to keep you on a good path?
Yeah. So a lot of people think that I actually plan out my messages for like a week at a time because I'm doing a daily message. And honestly, I don't even have the message until that morning. So a lot of times I would really say since August of last year, when I really got it going, and I went through a whole healing process because I'm currently going through a divorce right now for the past year and a half, and just walking out that whole process and relationship wise and everything like that, and getting out a lot of hurt and pain. God has been waking me up around 3:30 in the morning and putting something in my spirit and on my mind. And that's the message for the day. Now, it's not always at 3 o'clock in the morning because I normally get up at 4:30, but a lot of times it'll come that morning, and it can be something I've gone through, but I use a lot of life experience throughout the trials and tribulations because we all go through different tests in life. That's how every single person has a testimony. And I was so afraid of sharing that stuff in the past because I'm a natural introvert, to where God brought me out of that. So now I just get a daily message about something to speak about, and then I insert my own testimony into that each and every day. And that's where the messages come from. I'll look up, so I know the topic that I want to talk about, and then I'll just look up a few scriptures around it, and then I just go. Like, I don't plan out notes. I don't write stuff down. I literally just have the scripture that go along with it, and then inserting whatever God has on me, because Threads only allows you to film a 5-minute video. So okay. I just go for 5 minutes each and every day. Whatever comes out, comes out.
So I love how you're doing it in real time. You're not prepping it out. You know what you're feeling at the moment. You are doing it in real time. So is that scary for you though? Because, you know, I know you're going through a healing journey. Like you share, you recently going through a divorce. So you're going through all of that process. So being vulnerable and exposing yourself, is that ever scary for you?
In the past, yes. But the more I kept doing it, no, it naturally developed and it naturally became more real. Because like I said, I'm naturally an introvert. So I used to be real quiet and shy. Like 10 years ago, I wouldn't even be on this podcast. I wouldn't be making Threads videos. I wouldn't be doing any of that stuff. And even now sometimes too, like if it's one-on-one conversation or a small group, I can talk all day. But if it's a bigger audience, I'll more so fade away in the background. So when it came to the Threads videos and just walking out my testimony and stuff like that, I found that the more I just talk about myself and the stuff that I've been through, the easier it was to just have a conversation, film myself. The more I kept doing it, it became more natural and easy, to where now I don't even think about it. Yes, I'm a little bit nervous each and every time, just like I was nervous about getting on here tonight. Like, I think that's a natural thing to feel. But I think the more and more you put yourself through something, you naturally develop a mindset to where, okay, I know what I'm going to talk about because I lived it, I breathed it. It's not something that's made up. And, you know, if you just tell the truth, you don't have to have a good memory at the end of the day. I heard that on Judge Judy one time. I love that statement.
Okay. And I agree. If you tell the truth, you ain't got to remember the story. That is so true. So, yep. Okay. So you're going where you're in the process of going through a divorce. So let me ask you this here. What is one thing you learned about you going through divorce? What's one thing you've learned about you?
How much stronger I am mentally than I thought I was. Something I developed a couple of years ago is something we talked about before, the D.A.W.G mentality, and just changing your mindset in everything that you do. It's an acronym that I developed. It's not D.A.W.G, it's D.A.W.G. All right, that D.A.W.G mentality, how people think about sports and athletes and actors, like having that dog in them. All right, so it's determination, attitude, willingness, and grit. All right, being determined in every single thing that you do in life. All right, having the attitude, you get to choose how you feel for that day. So I had to change a lot of my mindset. All right, I get to choose no matter what's going on in life. whether it's my personal life, professional life, whatever the case may be, I get to choose to be happy, mad, sad, indifferent, whatever the case may be. And then the willingness to put in the work behind it, and the grit. The grit is the power to overcome whatever it is, the obstacles that are put in your way, and when the enemy tries to stop you. So that's where a lot of that came from on myself, is really incorporating that dog mentality. And that's why I'm huge on this mindset and growth overall, and just push people into that space each and every day.
Okay. So, and how important is it to like have the right mindset? How important is that?
It's one of the biggest keys to life. I think when you can change your mindset, the physical will follow behind it. You hear a lot of people always say, oh, I'm going to start this business. You hear them talk about the same stuff for 5 straight years, but never actually do anything. You hear people talk about New Year's resolutions every single year. The same resolution. I want to lose 10 to 15 pounds. All right. Your goal is to lose 10, 15 pounds, but people don't have a plan to go along with their goal. So a goal without a plan is just a dream at the end of the day. So that's why mindset is big, because you have to change your mentality to actually change the things in your life that need to be changed. All right. So your goal is to lose 10 to 15 pounds. This is just an example. All right. But what is your plan to lose the 10 to 15 pounds? Are you going to start working out 3, 4, 5 times a week and lift weights, go run at the gym on the treadmill? Are you going to drink more water? Are you going to incorporate a better diet? Are you going to get 7 to 8 hours of sleep? Are you going to take more vitamins? Are you going to go for a walk? Like, what are you going to do to lose that 10 to 15 pounds? Because if you have no plan to go along with it, if you have no mindset shift, all right, this is why diets don't work. Diets don't work. Lifestyle changes do. Then in 2026, you're going to be wanting to lose 15 to 20 pounds. 2027, you're going to want to lose 20 to 25 pounds. And then before you know it, you just keep stacking and stacking and stacking. And people don't want to make a change until it's too late. And they go to the doctor and they get some life-threatening disease. And then all of a sudden it's, oh, now I need to make the change. It's too late. You had all this time to make the change. And now you put yourself through that because you had a lack of a mindset shift. And that is why mindset is so big and key, because people can have all the physical tools in the world, but have a terrible mindset. This is why you see athletes not make it. You're like, that dude really had a lot of athletic ability. Why did he not make it to the NFL? Why did he not make it to the NBA? And that's how I was. Like, I played football growing up my entire life, even through college. And I had a terrible mindset at that time and got kicked out of school. So I didn't make it past that. All my friends said I should have made it to the NFL. The ones that did make it to the NFL, and I still talk to today. That's how huge mindset can be key in your life. And a lot of people tap into it a lot earlier in life. And unfortunately, a lot of people don't seek the right mindset until far too late in life. Never too late in life, but later on in life, to where you could have had so many different fruit produced in your life from making that mindset shift that we just choose to not make. Because that's really all it is at the end of the day. It's a choice that you have to make each and every day.
Yep.
Everybody has the same choice.
Yeah, and I love how you broke it down about having the goals, but you also have to have a plan. And then I'm going to even take it a little bit further, because I recently read the book, The Atomic Habits, and that's something that they talk about. Of course, you have to have the plan, because where you set the goal, then you have the plan to achieve the goal, but then you have to have a system to maintain the goal after you achieve it. Because you can lose 15 pounds, but what's your plan? What's the system for keeping the 15 pounds off? How do you keep the 15 pounds off? And that's what a lot of us don't do. And I'll just use women for an example. They're getting ready for a wedding or a marriage, and they want to lose the weight for the gown. And then once they wear the gown, then, hey, now I can eat cake and, go back to who I used to be before the wedding. Now the husband wants that same woman that walked down the aisle, when they got married. So it's like you have to have a system to maintain your goals. And I think that's another place we fail with our goals. We set them, but we don't have a system to maintain them. What do you think?
No, I absolutely agree with that. And by the way, ladies, he said that, not me. So you got on my record. No, but it's true though. It's true though. Like, you got to have a system in place. Like you just talked about. That's why I say diets don't work. You got to make a lifestyle change. And that's just not in the health and fitness space. Like that's in everyday life, whether it's in your personal life, your professional life, at work. Like, why are you not getting the job that you want to get? Why are you not getting the promotion that you've been seeking the entire time? Why are you not getting the rating, the performance rating that you want to get? Because we think of ourselves differently than how other people perceive us and how other people see us. And a lot of times we just don't take the feedback. Like, why did I not get that job? Oh man, it's because I look like this. So. Like, no, it's because you show up late every single day. You had no type of work ethic. You weren't working on anything to get better at yourself. But people want to skip all those different pieces because to them, they're viewing themselves completely different. That's why it's key to have accountability partners as part of that structure in that space that you're talking about. You need accountability partners. And I got a lot of accountability partners in my life. Like a lot of my closest friends, my inner circle, they all are big into God. We go to church together. All right. They're big into health and fitness. They will keep me grounded. They will tell me the truth. They will tell me what I need to hear and not what I want to hear, whether it's a male or a female, my family, whatever the case may be. Kids, keep kids around you because the kids will tell you the truth at all points of times and they will hurt your feelings. But you need that. You need that at every single step of the way because you got to stay grounded. You got to stay grounded. Hey, you want the truth? Go ask a 10-year-old how you look. All right. I've seen my son talk about and dog people out. I'm like, hey, you telling the truth, but you got to calm down. So, but when you set that, you got to set those examples as well, because it's one thing to talk about stuff and it's another thing to actually live it out. So it's easier for me to get people to buy in because they see me putting in the work or they see something in the physical that they want to achieve. All right. So I always say, like, my body is part of my marketing campaign, because if I can say all day, hey, I'm big into health and fitness, I can help you train, I can help you get better. But if I have a big old gut and all this stuff and I'm overweight, then why would you want to train with me at the end of the day? I don't have a true structure in place. I'm just saying a bunch of stuff, but I'm not believing it myself. And a lot of people just don't believe the stuff that they're actually saying and the stuff that they're preaching. That's how you get pastors in the church that fall. They're not living out what they're preaching on stage. All right. So that's how we have to have that around us. And you really just master the basics. Like I tell people this at work all the time, master the basics. Like I don't have anything extraordinary going on with myself. All right. I just simply master the basics. I don't have a degree. I don't have a educational background. Like I mentioned, I got kicked out of school. I never went back to finish my degree. I don't have a PhD. I don't have a master's. I don't have a bachelor's. I don't even have an associate's. But I've mastered the basics throughout my career in the corporate space to work harder than every single person around me, to not allow that affect me around, because anybody can have something on paper and look good and look flashy and have no work ethic behind it. Give me the person that is willing to be gritty and in the fight and do whatever it is that it takes to go get the job done, versus a person that has a degree, looks flashy, but doesn't know how to write an email, doesn't know how to talk, doesn't have any type of work ethic, shows up late, dresses how they want to dress, whatever the case may be, because they had no structure in place. They were just simply book smart and had no street smart to go along with it.
Nice. So let's break down the dog mentality. Let's break it down a little bit. So determination. Let's talk about determination. So when in your in your vision of dog mentality, what does determination mean?
Yeah. So determination is you have a goal, you have a plan set out that you need to achieve. How determined, how much work are you willing to put in to go achieve that goal? That is determination. No matter what it is that I'm set out to do, I'm going to accomplish this. It can be something today, this week, this month, this year. I am determined to achieve that. All right. So for me, like I'm determined to get a workout in every single day. So part of my routine is I get up at 4:30 in the morning every single day. I'm at the gym at 5 a.m. I work out from 5 to 6:30. I come back home, shower, shave this bald head, get ready for work, and I go in at 8 o'clock. All right. Got to incorporate that in there. Hey, I got to make jokes. I got to be funny. That's part of me. All right. But I'm determined to do that every single day. And behind that determination comes discipline. All right. So that's part of the mentality. You got to stay disciplined and focused in order to even be determined and not fall off track. Do I want to wake up at 4:30 every single day? Absolutely not. But my mindset tells me my mind will never fail me. I will never allow my mind to actually fail me. My body can fail me all day. I will never allow my mind to fail me. I will always say I will be determined to get XYZ done, whether it's going to the gym, working out, whether it's getting a task done, whether it's getting something at work done, whatever the case may be. How determined are you to achieve that goal that you have set out for that day and time?
Okay, but Marcus, some people have distractions. They have distractions that interrupt their determination. They have kids. So how do you get to a place where you are unwilling to allow distractions to keep you? Because I think most people have such busy lives. This is what they're going to use. Well, I got this to do. I got my kids. I got to do this. I got a family. I got to do everything. And they tend to put their goals on the back burner. How do people put their goals ahead of everything or balance it out?
Yeah. So I often think about this kind of like when you're on an airplane and they go through all the instructions at the very beginning and then the mask drop down and they say, put the mask on yourself before you can help somebody else. All right. So if you got kids, you got family that you're taking care of, you're married, you got a wife, you got a husband, whatever the case may be. Like you have to take care of yourself before you can take care of everybody else around you. I can't be present for my kids and be able to play with them at the basketball gym, play with them at the park, play with them at football, throw the football around, chase them around, play tag, all this different stuff if I'm not physically well myself. All right. So that's one of the key things that I have to do. And another thing to stay on track with stuff is, so I've always grown up ADHD and OCD. I no longer allow that stuff to affect me how it used to affect me in the past. All right. So attention deficit disorder, the H in ADHD is hyperactivity. So that keeps me going. It keeps me energetic throughout the day and all that type of stuff. My OCD is to stay more structured, more organized, more grounded and stuff. So a lot of what I do in my life, my personal life and my professional life, is I'll take my phone. I use my notes app. I jot down a whole bunch of notes on what it is that I need to do so that I don't forget stuff. I put stuff in my calendar. Like in my calendar tonight, I'll have a reminder that goes off at 30 to do push-ups. Every single day, I do 100 to 250 push-ups, whether it be in the morning time or at nighttime. At 8:45, I have a reminder to go off to read the Bible. That helps me stay disciplined, whether I got my kids or I don't have my kids. All right. So right now I get them every Thursday, and I get them every first, third, and fifth weekend each month. And I have them through Thursday through Monday through school drop off in that morning time. Regardless of what's going on, I'm still getting the stuff done that I need to get done because I've got stuff in my calendar app, my notes app, the reminders app on the iPhone, all that stuff that goes off. It helps keep me grounded. I hear so many people say, I don't have time to work out. All right, I keep using that as an example, but it's an easy example to use.
Right.
Everybody has the same 24 hours in a day to get whatever it is that they need to get done. All it takes is really 30 minutes to get a good workout in. 45 hour and a half max. You don't need to be in the gym 2, 3, 4 hours like these bodybuilders and stuff. You're not doing any type of show. You just go in there, try to get your health and fitness correct. All right. So people would use that excuse that they don't have time to work out, when in reality, they do have time. They're just allocating their time towards other things and other things that they want to do that they think is more important. You don't have an hour to work out, but you had 3 hours to watch that Netflix series that you wanted to watch with your friends or your wife or your kids and stuff. You had all day to be on YouTube. Everybody's on their phones on social media. You couldn't find 1 hour, even 30 minutes to carve out to do the exact same thing, but put it into yourself. Not just working out. Read a book, read the Bible, do something to develop yourself personally or professionally. We all have the same amount of time. It's just how people are allocating that time each and every day that gets them off track.
Okay, but let's talk about that, Marcus, because you sound a little bit selfish there. No, I'm just playing. No, but I am going with selfish though. So not you so much, but as believers, we are taught to be selfless, never selfish. So when you've been taught your entire life and you've been trained to be selfless, it's hard to put you first.
Yeah.
And that's a struggle. So just diving a little bit deeper into what you said, how do you put you first? Because that's pretty much what you're saying. You're not saying just abandon everybody else, but you are saying make you a top priority. When you've been taught all your life, you serve your family first, you serve everybody else first, and you get the leftovers or the remnants of everything. How do you change your mind from being selfless to more selfish?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I love that as well because really, when you put yourself first, it's allowing everything else in your life to line up and be easier to take care of. All right, so one of the first things I do every single morning is I have a conversation with God. How I want my day to go, speaking over my life. Are you speaking life or are you speaking death? I used to speak death a lot in my life, whether it be over myself, knowingly or unknowingly, but whether it be over other people, whether it be in my marriage, whether it be over my kids. If we make these small little inklings or these small little sayings that we don't even know that affects our day. So how are you speaking over your day to begin with? Like I open up my day just speaking to God, praying and mapping out how I want my day to go. All right. I'll say a prayer, whatever that prayer is. And then also getting in the word. I always say to people, get into the word until the word gets into you. All right. Start learning different terminology. Start learning the scripture. All right. So now that I've learned that, I put myself first. I took time to read. I took time to get into the word. Now I'm able to pour that into my kids. Now, when I put them to bed, we're able to read scriptures together. Now, when I put them to bed, I'm able to have prayer time with them. Even before bed, we're able to read. We can go to church together as well. If I wasn't going to church, why would my kids not want to go? Why would my kids want to go to church? Why would I want to take them to church? Now, every time I have my kids, my oldest, my 10-year-old, he starts doing push-ups on his own. Why? Because he sees me working out. He sees me doing push-ups at the house all the time when my reminder goes off at nighttime. He sees me getting into the word. So now it's getting to a point to where I don't even have to say anything. So when you start putting yourself first, you become a living example to the people around you. If you don't have kids, it can be literally just an example to if your spouse, if you're married, if you're not married and no kids at all, it can be a living example to your friends, your community, your family members, everybody around you in your circle, your coworkers. They're going to see the way that you walk and that you talk is differently because the way that you carry yourself, because you took time to put yourself first. There's something different about him. There's something different about her. I want to know what that is. You're going to have people start to walk up to you and start a conversation up to you about what you have going on. I could wear a simple t-shirt that is Christ-led that will generate a conversation at a coffee shop just because I chose to run towards God, made the choice to get into the word, get into the scripture, learn more, buy that product, put it on my body, knowing the conversation that is going to generate down the road. And we can incorporate that in our life. It may look selfish to some people, but a lot of times when you put everybody else first, that's where anxiety creeps in. That's where depression creeps in. That's where you stop working out. Your eating habits get off. You become lazy. You don't have the same work ethic. Your kids will have every single thing in the world, and yet you're still not happy because you fall into that depressed mode. And then you got to start finding out, what do I need to do to heal it? And then you find yourself going through all these healing classes, going through counseling. And a lot of times counseling, all that stuff is free. Just join a Bible study group. All right. That's the best counselor anybody can get without paying $300, $400, $500 an hour. All right. So it's key to put yourself first because it allows everything else in your life to follow behind that.
I love that. Because I agree with you 100%. Because once you fill you up, then everybody can live off of the overflow of you. You know, you can't give if you're empty. And I think that's a lot of people are working on empty and they're trying to pour into other people, but you're empty. You have nothing to give. So I agree there. And I love that. I love that. So let's go to your next thing. Attitude. Let's talk about that. Attitude and the dog mentality. What does that mean?
Yeah. So attitude, you get to choose how you feel. Like I mentioned before, I'm going through divorce right now for the last year and a half. All right. I got the court system freezing my money for over a year now. I got child support. I got spousal support. I got custody battle that I'm going through. In the physical realm, just looking at it, that is a terrible situation. It hurts. It sucks. You got a whole bunch of anxiety, frustration, overwhelmed, everything that you're going through. And that attitude in there is you get to make the choice. You get to choose how you feel, regardless of what situation is that you're going through in life. Your mom just passed away. Your dad just passed away. Somebody just got shot. You lost your job. You're going through a divorce. You're going through custody battles. You may be going through something that is a false allegation. Who knows what a person may be going through? So many people go through so many different things. You get to make the choice in life on how you feel. You can choose to be happy about it, mad about it, sad about it. I was all of those things with my emotions going on at first. And then I had to make the choice. All right, I don't get to determine the outcome of my case. I don't get to determine how much I have to pay. I don't get to determine if my money is frozen. I don't get to determine the spousal support that I have to pay. I don't get to determine the custody situation that I have. But I do get to choose how I feel and the impact that I can make on my kids with the amount of time that I'm given with them. All right, so I'm at the point now, I'm fighting for 50-50 custody. Been to court 3 or 4 times last year, not being granted 50-50 custody by the judge. All right. So on one hand, hey, that absolutely sucks. Why am I not getting that? Why would they not want each parent to have equal amount of time with that? But on the flip side, I made a choice. Okay, with the time that I do have, which is about 42% of the time, when you do all the math on my custody schedule, close to 50-50, but not 50-50. And I get to make a choice with the time that I do have. Hey, I'm going to have the funnest time with my kids. I'm going to be happy. We're going to have the most joyous time. We're going to get into the word. We're going to play these sports. We're going to go have fun. We're going to go play games. We're going to get into the word. We're going to study to get better at school. We're going to read to get better and make sure we continue to keep developing to where now they can lock me up in jail for whatever they want to do. All right. I can have 1 hour visitation a month and I will make a bigger impact on my kids in that 1 hour than anybody else can in an entire year, because that's the choice that I'm choosing to make. All right. So I'm going to be happy throughout the situation and understand that God has a bigger plan at the end of the day that I may not be able to see. You may not be getting the prayers answered right now. Sometimes you have delayed answers over the prayers that you want immediately, because we want stuff to happen right now. And that's where you have to surrender to yourself and die to yourself. Not a physical death, a spiritual death each and every day, and make that choice to become a living sacrifice for God. And know if he sent his son, Jesus Christ, to die for all of our sins and to die for all of us, so that we can have living life and breath each and every day. Like the fact that we're even sitting here to be able to have this podcast right now is because God sent his son, Jesus Christ, to die for all of our sins and to die so that we can have life. That is the most amazing thing in itself. And I'm over here worried because I don't have my kids 8% additional of the time, when somebody else is homeless, when somebody else just lost their kids to CPS, when somebody just lost a family member, their spouse could have just passed away in a car accident. They could have lost a child. All right, so I'm going to make the most of what I have at that time. And I'm going to make the choice to be happy about it and not be mad and not be disgruntled and not be bitter. All right. So I turn the focus on myself, and I take accountability for every single thing that went wrong within any relationship, within my marriage, within anything in life. All right. I'm at the point now to where if it's raining outside and I get wet, it's my fault because I didn't have an umbrella or I didn't wear a jacket. That's how my mindset has shifted to every single little thing in life. And that's really where we have to focus our attention. Where are you driving your energy each and every day? Because a lot of people go through the exact same stuff, but how did one person end up in one road? You got two people that come from absolutely nothing in life. No father, no background, no money, no nothing. Person A chose a life of crime, sex, drugs, getting locked up in jail, whatever the case may be. Person B went through the exact same things in life growing up, but went on to become a successful person when in the corporate world, started their own business, got married, kids, get in the word each and every day. What was the difference? Both went through the exact same scenarios, went through the exact same upbringing. One of them made the choice. It's all about choices each and every day. So how do you choose to approach your day? And that is all about your attitude. So if you want to be mad about what somebody said 2 weeks ago about you at work, hey, that is on you. You're going to let that affect your entire day. You got people, we all know people that can't go to a house party or a birthday party or whatever the case may be because so-and-so is going to be there because of something that happened 7 years ago. You got to have a mindset shift in that attitude towards that person. And a lot of that comes with forgiveness as well. Are you forgiving yourself for what you put yourself through, for what other people put you through? And are you forgiving other people? All right. So when you have that forgiveness in your life, it makes the attitude shift a lot more easier. There's nothing that anybody can do to me at this point in my life. There's nothing that anything can happen to me at this point in my life that is going to make me have a terrible day. All right. I've learned to have terrible moments. I have terrible moments, but I'm never going to let anything that I'm going through affect my entire day, week, month, whatever. All right. So that's the attitude shift that I had to make, and know that God will bring me through any type of situations, all the trials, all the tribulations, because he is faithful at the end of the day. A lot of us want to see every single thing that God has for us and what's coming down our path, but that's not how it works. All right. We have to walk by faith and not by sight. All right. And a lot of ourselves, we just don't even want to put ourselves through a test in life. And it creates a bad attitude towards a person or a thing and whatever it is that you may be going through. And something I said in one of my Threads videos a while back that my friend reminds me of all the time. I was like, I said that? It was, you can't get the results to a test that you never took. And a lot of people just don't want to put themselves through different tests because they're so afraid of the outcome that it might be. So therefore, their attitude is just a terrible attitude towards that thing or that person, whatever the case may be. So you got to make the choice each and every day that determines your attitude.
And see, you said so many things there. You said so many things. So let's go back to first. You said choose your attitude about things. And the reality of things is that most times as humans, I think we're all guilty of this. We'll see what's missing opposed to what we have. We see what's missing opposed to what we have. And I tell people this all the time, you know, like I live my life, like I don't see the glass as half empty or half full. I just see that something is in the glass because I know what it feels to not have anything in the glass. So I'm just grateful and blessed that something's in the glass. And I think that's where as humans, we just always see the voids in our life opposed to the opportunities to fill it with what we want. So how do you, and I know you talked about forgiveness and forgiving yourself and all of those things, but again, mindset shift is not that overnight thing that happens overnight, Marcus. Sometimes it takes work. So how do you shift your mindset?
It's all a process. Like none of this stuff is easy. All right. So speaking from a standpoint to where I've made it to the other side now, but that didn't happen overnight. All right. So it's little steps at a time. People want all this microwave stuff society that happened overnight. And that's just not the way stuff works. And that's not the way life works. It's gonna be hard. It's supposed to be hard. Life is gonna be hard. And that's the joy within the process. Like you gotta fall in love with the process. All right. So we always want to go from A straight to Z, but we bypass the B through the Y and everything in between that. That is the by. All right. So when you read a book and you got the author, it says by so and so. That is the process and everything that they went through to get there. You are creating your story. You are living out your testimony. So it's small little shifts at a time, small little shifts. Start reading more. Start learning more. I'm huge on education. I'm huge on learning. I'm huge on development. I'm not huge on the school system itself. You have to have small incremental steps to it. We always want to have somebody take a test and get the passing grade right away. It's okay to make mistakes. You're going to make mistakes. That's how you learn. If everybody was perfect, you would literally have nothing to learn from. And Jesus was the only perfect person to roam this earth. So it's okay to make mistakes. You just want to learn from those mistakes and not continue to make the same mistake over and over and over again. But it's going to take time. It's all a process, and it's okay to walk it out. Like it's going to look different for every single person, because some people, it's going to click right away. And within a month, hey, they already made that mindset shift. They know exactly what they need to do. That's where you see a person at work that lost 90 pounds all of a sudden by the next year. And you're like, oh, what happened? They're like, oh, I heard this on a podcast one time, or I read this book and it just clicked in my head, and they knew exactly what they needed to do. And you got other people, it may take a year, 2 years, 5 years. Like it's going to be a process. They need stuff mapped out. All right. For me, I'm a person that needs to write stuff down. I'm not an overnight success. I'm not something that developed overnight. Like it took me years to get to this point. I'm in my mid 30s right now. I wasn't like this at 10 years old. I wasn't like this as a teenager. I wasn't like this in my 20s. This didn't happen until I got into my 30s. And I knew a lot of stuff, but I wasn't applying it. And I finally had to apply it. And I think a lot of times people need to go through stuff in life to have that mindset shift. Because if you just have everything given to you, why would you want to change? Why would you want to make any type of shift at all? All right, if I had everything given to me and I just had $5 million handed to me and all this stuff, you can't tell me what to do. Why would I make any type of mindset shift? So it's good that I went through the things that I went through. And I had to grow up a lot faster than a normal person would in their marriage. So I was married for 14 years. We were together 17 years overall. We're together as teenagers. 2 years into our marriage, she collapsed, lost her memory, forgot how to walk, talk, all that stuff. It was like the movie 50 First Dates with Adam Sandler, all right, or the movie The Vow with Channing Tatum, where she got hit in an accident and lost her memory and everything. All right, so that's how it was for me and my wife at that time. All right, so she collapsed, she forgot how to walk, talk, all that stuff. She started having seizures. She got diagnosed with epilepsy. I'm in my early 20s at the time. I'm still entry level at my corporate job at the time, barely making anything. We had a 2-income household. All right. So at that time, she had to go through physical therapy, speech therapy, and all that stuff. That immediately, a lot of stuff that I was taught growing up, especially from a work ethic standpoint, I wasn't applying leading up to that. And then going through that whole process, it clicked in to where, hey, now everything's on me. I got to take care of her. My work ethic went through the roof to where I wasn't making any type of excuses anymore, but I still wasn't where I truly needed to be. It was helping me in my professional life. Y'all was succeeding in the corporate space, but I still wasn't where I needed to be in my personal space as well. And it took time to go there. You have to allow yourself time to get there. Allow yourself grace and mercy. All right. Have a group around you, a friend group around you to help mold you and shape you. I had a lot of older men in my life to help support me in my down times. All right. I had my brother. I got a brother, older brother. I got my dad. I got my mom. Like, my support system has always been strong in my life to where, yeah, when I fell down, when I made mistakes, when I did some knuckleheaded stuff at all the times, they were my support group to get me through that, to walk me through that process. So it's gonna take time. It's not gonna be easy. I'm not gonna sit up here and say it's gonna be easy just because I've made it to that mindset space now, knowing everything that I had to go through in order to get to that place. And you have to walk it out. And another thing that happened to me, like a story that I love to share, back in 2017, I played football my whole life growing up. I tore my pec on my left shoulder back in 2017 playing football. I couldn't, never had surgery, never did any of that. I couldn't do a push-up for the first 8 months after tearing my pec. I didn't know if I was ever going to be able to do a push-up again. I tried to do a push-up every single day for 8 months. It wasn't happening. I couldn't even push myself up. There was days where I was mad, angry, sad, cried, worried about if I was ever going to be able to do a push-up again, because I was heavy in the weight room, still am today, loved it, and had to go to a chiropractor. He told me, take some time off, allow it to heal a little bit, and watch what starts to happen. And I finally allowed my body to rest a little bit, and then started doing push-ups again. Still couldn't do it. Went through it every single day, 8 months of this. And then I finally did one push-up. You would have thought I won the Super Bowl. You would have thought I won the lottery. Like, just the happiness and the joyfulness that I felt from that helped create a mindset shift within myself that I didn't even know that I needed. Just something as simple as doing a push-up, to where then I started doing them again every day. Do 2, do 3. Like, it just kept building up. But that's what we have to do in our life. We have to keep stacking on top of each other, just like I had to do with my push-ups. I just use that example to where now I can go back to doing what I was doing before, 100 to 250 push-ups every single day, every single night, in the morning time, on the weekends, sometimes 500. Me and my son are doing them all the time, me and my oldest. So you have to allow yourself that grace and that mercy to develop through it, and know that there's going to be pain that comes along the way, but that's all part of the process, and you got to fall in love with the process.
Yeah, I love, and I'm so glad you said that about the grace, extending grace to yourself, because people, if you've been thinking one way for years, you may go months and your mindset may be changed and you may be thinking different. There'll be a day that you revert back to where you were before. And you have some of those same, or you doing some of the same things you used to do. Extend grace, because like you said, it's a moment, it's not a day, and moments pass. So just keep it moving. I love that, man. So let's get to willingness. So let's talk about willingness. What is that in your plan?
Yeah. So you have the determination. You got the attitude. Are you willing to push through it all? All right. Regardless of what it is, are you willing to push through it all? Because none of these work without each other. If you have a terrible mindset, if you have a terrible attitude, do you really think you're going to be willing to do a push-up? Are you willing to put in extra effort? Are you willing to put in any type of work at your job to become better? You have to have the willingness to even put in the effort behind what it is that you're even trying to achieve. All right. The only difference between an ordinary person and an extraordinary person is literally the word extra. That's it. All right. Just literally the word extra. Are you willing to put in the extra effort? All right. Do you want to be good, or do you want to be great at something? Being good is just doing the bare minimum. Hey, I come in, I do my job, I showed up on time. As soon as the clock hits, I'm out. Hey, you're a good employee. You got everything done that you needed to be done. Do you want to be great? Are you willing to do things that other people are simply not wanting to do? Are you willing to put in the extra effort? Are you willing to put in the work? Are you the person that comes a little bit more early? Are you getting your task done, helping other people with their tasks, planning out your next task for the following day, for the following week, whatever the case may be, and staying a little bit late? On top of that, we always hear about the athletes First one in, last one out. Those are the ones that became great. Kobe Bryant, LeBron, MJ, all them. You always hear the stories. They were the first person in the gym and one of the last people to leave, whether it was just a weightlifting session, whether it was a shooting session to work on something that they were weak at, that they had an opportunity at to increase their strengths on top of that. They were willing to put in the work. You have to be willing to put in the effort, whatever it is that you're facing in life. Are you willing to do it? Are you willing to even want to have a better mindset? Because some people just aren't willing to do it. You always hear people say, I'm comfortable. No, I'm comfortable. Yeah, no, I'm good. Yeah, I don't want to do any more than that. What I'm doing right now, hey, that is perfectly fine with me. You're going to have those people. We got 9 billion people on earth. It's unrealistic to think that everybody is going to want more for themselves. All right. But are you going to be a person that chooses and be willing to put in the extra effort, in the extra work to get what it is that you want to achieve out of yourself? All right. Out of your kids, out of your spouse, out of your marriage, out of your business, your workplace, your health, whatever the case may be. All right. Are you willing to put in that extra effort and that extra work? And I hate to say it, a lot of times people just aren't willing to do it. And honestly, that's kind of why it's easy to become successful, because people are so accepting with being bare minimum and not even willing to put in the work at the end of the day. And the people that do choose to do so, you don't have to have all the physical talents, all the physical gifts. All right. Remember the story of Michael Jordan. Like, he didn't even make his varsity team, but he put in the work to get better and better and better and developed a killer instinct mentality that nobody was going to overtake him. He never allowed his mind to fail him. And when your mind gets there, the body, the physical follows right after that. A lot of times we think that we're tired. You can be running a 5K race. You can be running a marathon. Your body's going to tell you you're tired. You're tired. You're tired. No, you got to tell yourself, keep going, keep pushing. You actually have more strength in your body than you think. Your mind is starting to fail you. So you got to get your mind right and produce it. Are you willing to push through that? Are you willing to go the extra mile? Are you willing to put in the work? Are you willing to do whatever it is that it takes to get to the next level? And if you are, you're going to be successful 9 times out of 10. Just people aren't willing to do it.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. And let's go to the next one. Grit. Let's get right on to it.
Yeah.
What is grit?
Grit is that dirtiness, that griminess. Your life is going to present so many different obstacles. All right. The enemy is always going to try to attack. All right. Things can be going smooth, going great. And funny thing is, like, the closer I get to God, the more the enemy attacks me. But I now have an awareness how to deal with that, how to overcome that. All right. What things do I have in place? That structure that you talked about towards the beginning, because you got to have that grit and that perseverance, the power through, the power to overcome any obstacle that life throws in your way. All right. So now I'm in a place now to where I got the grit to overcome if I tore my other pec. I know exactly what to do. It's never going to stop me. I got the grit, the power through 4 court cases last year and continue to fight for my kids. It's easy to give up. It's easy to say, I know the judge isn't going to grant me this. I know they're just going to have me continue to pay this. I'm not going to be able to see my kids this certain amount of time. No, I will go to court a million different times knowing that I will continue to fight for my kids at the end of the day. And that's the grit and that toughness that you have to have. All right, you're going to get banged up on the court. You're going to get banged up on the field. All right, my son got hit in the head yesterday in the football game that he had. All right, he went over to the sideline for 2 plays, and I just asked him, he's okay. He's like, yeah, I'm ready to go in, because he's built different. All right, I made sure he had that dog mentality in him, just growing up, and that toughness growing up, and that ability to power through whatever it is that life throws at you. Oh, you got a cancer diagnosis? Okay. What do I need to do in order to help cure myself? Because a lot of stuff can be cured naturally. You don't have to sit up here and do all the chemo. You don't have to sit up here and do all the medicine. You don't have to sit up here and do all these other things that the medical system wants you to do. Do you have the grit to power through all that? Do you have it really speaks on all that stuff. Are you determined to go through all that? Do you have that right attitude to deal with the cancer diagnosis? Are you willing to go through every single step and therapy that you need to do? Do you have that grit to power through it? All right. Everything around us is, a lot of it is what they just put in the chat, spiritual warfare. All right. We're not just being attacked in the physical. We're being attacked spiritually majority of the time, and it enters into the physical space. Do you have the grit and the toughness to power through all that? The enemy's out to attack us each and every day, each and every one of us. Are you going to allow that to happen? Are you going to equip yourself with the tools that are needed? All right. The devil will flee if we just ask. Pray it away. All right. We just have to ask. We have not because we ask not. All right. And that is some of the grit and the toughness. And so one of the biggest grit and the toughness that we have each and every day is literally just waking up, thanking God, praying, getting into the word, and developing that gritness, that toughness. All right. I don't even know if gritness is a word, but I said it anyways, that grit. All right. Develop that grit and that toughness each and every day to be able to power through whatever life throws at you. So now I'm at the point of my life, honestly speaking, I'm at the point of my life to where you can honestly throw anything at me and I don't care. I know that I'm going to get through it. It's going to make me better at the end of the day. Everything that I've been going through the past year and a half sucks absolutely 100%. All right. In the physical realm. But God has brought me through all of it to where now I am stronger mentally, emotionally, physically, and most importantly, spiritually. It's just been a financial hit at the end of the day, and you can always make finances back. All right. God will always provide. He will always provide the resources that we need in our life. But do we have that grit and that toughness to power through what it is that we need to go through in life in order to get to the other side and that blessing that he has for us? All right. So everybody is put through a different test. That's how we all have a testimony to even share with other people. And it took a lot of grit for other people to come out on the other side. Otherwise, you wouldn't have any type of success stories to share with other people. And that goes for all of us.
So, Marcus, what do you say to someone who is actually in their moment right now and they don't feel that they have the grit to get through it? So what advice do you have for someone who's in it right now? Right now, at this very moment, they're in their moment. They don't see that this is going to pass. They only see what is right in front of them. And it's pretty dark right now. It's pretty hard right now. And they feel like giving up. How do you get your grit when you're in the midst of it?
Yeah, I actually had this happen a couple of weeks ago. One of my good friends from high school, he went through a divorce as well, going through custody. His divorce is finalized and all that stuff. And then he actually had a new fiance who was going to marry, I believe this year. And then they ended up breaking up. He needed to live with me for 3 nights. And he's just spilling out all this stuff that he's going through, all his emotions and everything. And one of the main things that I told him that he said helped him was write down every single emotion and feeling that you are experiencing right now. Write it all down on how you're feeling. And then there's a app called Open Bible app. All right. You can look it up on any desktop, on your phone, whatever the case may be. And it has a search option in there. You can throw in any keyword in there and it brings up a list of scriptures to go along with it. So I told him, write down every single feeling, every single word, every single emotion that you are going through, whether it's good or bad, whatever the case may be, and go research every single word in that app and read every single scripture and put your name to it all and speak it out slowly. All right. Find books that help with the healing process. That's something that I had to do last year. All right. I always say, like, hurt people. So when I was going through my hurt, I was hurting other people knowingly or unknowingly with what I was doing, what I was saying, how I was living, whatever the case may be. All right. Free people. Healed people help heal other people. And I'm now a healed person that is helping heal other individuals and helping them walk that out. So start to write stuff down. Start the journal. All right. Start reading more. I used to hate reading and writing, all that stuff. And I've fallen in love with it. I've honestly fallen in love with it the past 6 or 7 months now. And finding books about healing, finding books about developing spiritual growth, getting in the word until the word gets into you, and applying scriptures, praying for specifically what you want your outcome to be. All right. Praying how you want your husband to look, how you want him to act, how you want his personality to be, praying how you want your next wife to look, how you want her attributes to be, how you want her personality to be, how you want her to be a believer. Pray the specifics on what you are looking for and what you are going through. Write it down and do it every single day. And like I said before, it's going to be a process. All right. There were days here last year for everything that I was going through where I literally had to work from home in silence because I didn't want a TV on. I was crying every single day with what I was going through, getting emotional, not afraid to admit any of that stuff. All right. Pour out, reach out to other people, share what it is that you're going through. Don't hold it in. The devil wants us to be isolated. He wants us to stay in bondage. All right. He wants us to think that we're the only person in life going through stuff. When we get on Bible study calls, so few people want to share stuff because they think what they're going through is the only person in life that's going through it. There's 9 billion people on earth, like I said before. You really think that you're the only person going through what it is that you're going through currently, present, or in the future? All right. Are you the only person going through divorce? Nope. Are you the only person going through a custody situation? Nope. Are you the only person that lost a loved one, lost your mom, your dad, your sister, your brother? All right. No. Are you the only person that got a cancer diagnosis? No. Reach out to other people who have gone through the fire that can help walk it out that you have been going through. But none of this happens if we're unwilling to share. All right. That is one thing that held me in bondage in my past, is being the introvert, being afraid, being scared, holding myself back and not allowing myself to share the stuff that I was going through. And then when I finally got to a place to where it kind of happens to where you kind of don't even realize it. You just walk it out. And then one week I'm like, okay, I didn't cry today. That's a win. Celebrate your victories, whether they're small victories or big victories. We don't celebrate ourselves enough. Write down stuff like women are very good at expressing themselves emotionally, physically. Write stuff down, all that stuff. They pour out into each other. Women can go get coffee and sit at a coffee shop for 4 hours. But particularly us as men, we hold so much stuff back because of pride and ego. And that can happen to women too, but more so on the male side, we hold on to a lot of pride and ego. And that's something I had holding me back, pride and ego. You got to let go of pride and ego at the end of the day. And bringing up my phone real quick, because I actually went through a 40 days of fasting and prayer last year through my church. And God just had me write down a whole list of things to get rid of in my life in order to experience the healing process that I went through. And I found it in my notes app. I still have it. The last time I updated this was October 20th of last year at 9:14 p.m. All right. And it was just things that I prayed and fasted about over the 40 days. And it's just part of your healing process in your journey. The number one thing that I have on here is remove all pride and ego. Run towards God more than ever. Build my life around God instead of trying to fit him into it. That was one of the biggest things for me. I used to make so many excuses in my past and be like, I don't have time for that today. I don't have time to go to church. I don't have time to go help at a homeless ministry. I don't have time to read. I don't have time to get in the word, because I was trying to fit God into my life, to where now I flipped it around. I fit myself into his life. And you'll be surprised at what that can do for yourself when you start to fit yourself into God's life and die to onto your own flesh and let his will be done and not our own. A lot of times we want our own will to be done. We want things to go our own way. We want things that happen our own time. And because we're naturally selfish human beings, I am a selfish person. All right. I want things to go my way at all times. All right. So we all fall into that category. We want stuff to happen at all times for ourselves. When God says, no, run towards me, follow me, and I will walk you through the steps each and every day. Let your will be done and not mine. And sometimes we just don't understand it in the moment. All right. Do not lean on your own understanding. We got to lean on his understanding. All right. So I always tell people, write stuff down. I'm just reading some other ones. Speak life and love. Minister to my kids and bring them closer to God. All right. For God to speak to me audibly instead of just through spirit for clearer understanding. I didn't even know God can speak to you audibly until last year when somebody told me. And then I asked him, can you start speaking to me audibly? It's happened 4 times since then, like actually hearing an actual voice. This has happened. Some of these people have experienced this. All right. Some people just hear through the Holy Spirit. All right. That feeling. When people say, oh, something told me X, Y, Z, or I had a gut feeling, that is the Holy Spirit speaking to you. We just don't want to acknowledge that. We use fleshly things and earthly things saying, oh, something told me to turn left. And then a semi truck would have collided with your car. That was the Holy Spirit telling you to go left. It's the same thing when we are walking out our pain. All right. We got to listen to God and be obedient to him at the end of the day and make that choice. It's not going to be easy. It's never going to be easy. It's not supposed to be easy, but that is the blessing and the journey and the process of everything that we do. And then you learn to be dope just like you.
Hey, man, that's rich. That's rich. So, Marcus, tell us, what's your final word on the dog mentality?
Yeah. So, final word, dog mentality is, I told you it already stands for determination, attitude, willingness, and grit. And be determined in every single thing that you do in life. Make a mindset shift. All right. Don't let anybody get in your way. Run towards God more than ever. He should be the number one thing within our lives, each and every the Son and the Holy Spirit. All right. The Trinity. All right. So developing that mentality and see how much it helps you in your personal life, in your professional life, and every single thing around you. And you're going to start to develop a mindset to where nothing is too big to overcome in life. All right. So I hope everybody takes the time to work on themselves and work on their mindset, because the mindset is something that nobody can take away from you at the end of the day.
And guys, if you're out there and you are working on changing your mindset, Marcus, go follow this guy. Like, he will navigate you, walk with you as you are changing and transforming. And it is a process. And like he said, we need people that's going to hold us accountable, people that are going to pour into us. And one thing I can tell you about Marcus, that is him. So, like, go out, follow him. He's on IG, Threads, TikTok, Facebook, and his name is Marcus.E.Wilson0512. He just changed his TikTok name. He had a porn star name at first. Silky Smooth. He just changed that today, but he got rid of his old life. He changed his mind and got rid of the porn. So follow him on IG, Threads, TikTok, and Facebook, all at Marcus E. Wilson 0512. Like I said, this is an extraordinary guy. And Marcus, just watching you, I didn't realize you had just been doing this since August. And I can only see where you are now, and I can only imagine where you're going to be in 6 months from now, or when August hit. And it seemed like you are on the right path. And I know that sharing your story and your journey, sometimes it puts us in uncomfortable spaces because we're naked in front of people. So, I encourage you to continue doing what you're doing, man. And I thank you for coming on here tonight, man, because you have really inspired me and blessed me tonight, man. So thank you so much.
No, I appreciate you for even reaching out, following the threads, watching the videos, and just being obedient and listening to God to even have that connection and seeing what it can lead to. So thank you, and I appreciate you for even having me on.
Absolutely. Oh, one other thing, Marcus, before we go, you have a podcast. Where can we listen to it?
So it can be found on YouTube. It's still in the intro stages right now. So I'm doing it with a colleague at work to where it's called Master the Basics Podcast. So we've only filmed 3 episodes so far. We actually had a different name to start, so we just changed the name to Master the Basics. It was Real Life Talk at first. So there's episodes on my threads that are posted. There's episodes on my Instagram, but the full episodes can be found on the YouTube page. And my YouTube is, you can find it, Marcus.E.Wilson as well on there, or Master the Basics Podcast. And we try to do episodes each and every week. Still in the up and coming stages. We're not like you yet, but we're going to get there.
Whatever, man. I'm keeping it rated G's. Whatever, man. But y'all go follow this brother because you need him in your life, your daily life. He is, like I said, an extraordinary guy. And I love, again, back to the top, how you said that these messages are coming to you. So it's real time. So when he's doing this, it's not something that he's planning out. This is fresh off the press for you. So go follow this brother. And you primarily share like your videos on Threads, right?
Correct. Yeah, on Threads.
Yeah. So if you're not on Threads, get on Threads. It's really fire. A lot of great people out there. So go out and follow Marcus on Threads, actually, if you want to like get his videos. But Marcus, thank you again for coming on. And everybody, we will see you guys next Monday. We only have 2 more episodes in season 9, and we'll be out until mid-May. End of May, something like that. But good night, y'all. Peace.
Later.